You're stepping on my toes. What's this?
Step, step,
What's
step,
this?
step, step, step.
You can't take things away. Like you just spoiled my story. How are we supposed to know how the Colorado Rapids get to the semifinals?
What do you mean? I don't know how they got there. Tell me all about it.
Well, lucky for you, I did my homework, and so I can tell you all about it. What I can also tell you about is how we've talked a ton about this 2010 season already, or at least it's felt like it, to be honest. But now you get to see how the different multiverses get to blend together now. Because this story begins with the final game of the season. And we'll pick up where we last left off, which was Birahim Diop scoring a hat trick on the final day of the season. For those that listened to the last history episode, firstly, thank you. Secondly, you'll know that Diop scored a hat trick against San Jose on the last game of the 2010 regular season to beat them 4-1. Meanwhile, Colorado was picking up a draw against RSL in quite frankly a game that they should have won. They conceded two goals in stoppage time, so big ups Colorado. But that's neither here nor there. While they were already clinched for the playoffs, what this result meant was that they would be matched up with the Columbus Crew instead of the New York Red Bulls, which appeared to be a better matchup for them considering they were winless in three matches against Red Bull. You might be asking yourself, how does a team in the Western Conference get matched up with a team in the Eastern Conference? That's a great question for Google, because I'm not going to begin to try to understand and explain that mess. Anyway, the format of the playoffs is home and away for the first leg, sorry, for the first round, and then one-off games the rest of the playoffs. The first game of the series saw Colorado at Dick's Sporting Goods Park taking on the Columbus Crew, as was spoiled by Andrew. Big important names on both sides, seeing the Crew with Eddie Gavin, GBS, and Chad Marshall, while Colorado fielded Connor Casey, Omar Cummings, and Pablo Mastroeni. This game was not an exciting one for the box score, but was a tactical important one for Colorado. In the home and away affair, it was really important to get the win at home, and the aforementioned Mastroeni would be the one to give them that win, as in the 23rd minute, he would find the end of an Omar Cummings cross to beat Andy Grunenbaum in goal and give the Rapids a 1-0 lead going into Columbus. A win was not needed, nor did it need to be pretty. Whatever was needed to get them to the next round was all that was left to do for this first round of the playoffs. Well, they didn't exactly get off to the best of starts with Eddie Gavin, yes, that Eddie Gavin, grabbing the first for Columbus in the 22nd minute to give Columbus a 1-0 lead in the game and make it level in the aggregate. To make matters worse, Columbus then grabbed a second in the 70th minute to not only double the lead in the game, but give them an aggregate advantage as well. As of right now, Colorado was going home if they could not find another goal. But we wouldn't be talking about a semifinals matchup if they lost in the quarters, now would we? Colorado legend Connor Casey steps in the 84th minute to find the end of a cross from Omar Cummings to once again level the aggregate. Tied after the final whistle meant we were off to penalties. Grunnebaum versus Matt Pickens for Colorado. I'll skip the back and forth considering all first four players for both sides scored. But next for Columbus was Brian Carroll, who stepped up and had our first miss of the penalty shootout, meaning the ball was in Colorado's court to send Columbus packing. Up stepped Jamie Smith, who would make no mistake with his penalty to send Columbus into the next round of the playoffs. On the other end of this part of the bracket saw the Eastern Conference 1 seed New York Red Bulls pull That's So Metro moment number infinity as they won the away game, only to lose the home game 3-1 and see them get knocked out in the first round, meaning we are seeing the two lowest seeds face off in the semifinals. Remember that point they got at the end of the regular season? How big of a point would that turn out to be, as that extra point meant they got to host this single elimination semifinal game? While San Jose did not have a good season, this was not a team that could be slept on, especially considering that they had the Golden Boot winner in their side. This one is an insanely important game for the club and the fans when you consider that they hadn't been to an MLS Cup final since 1997, over a decade. It would take some time for the first goal to come, but luckily for the fans in attendance, the goal would come for Colorado and from quite an unexpected goal scorer. When you have guys like the Connor Casey and Omar Cummings in the team, you don't expect the big time goal to come from your right back, Kozuki Kimura, who has only scored twice in his professional career to this point. But nonetheless, it was Kimura that scored and gave Colorado a super important lead, a lead that they would be able to hold on to, meaning that not only did they shut down the most prolific goal scorer that season, but also get the win and make it to MLS Cup final for the first time in 13 years. But tune in next time though, because this story is not quite over yet, and we will be covering the MLS Cup final in next week's history episode. So more Colorado coming up.